Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charana Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The personality of Godhead, the master of all living entities, existed prior to the creation as one without a second. It is by His will only that creation is made possible, and again everything merges in Him. This Supreme Self is symptomized by different names. Purport. The great sage here begins to explain the purpose of the 4 original verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Although they have no access to the Srimad Bhagavatam, the followers of the Mayavad impersonalist school sometimes screw out an imaginary explanation of the original 4 verses. But we must accept the actual explanation given herein by Maitreya Muni because he, along with Uddhava, personally heard it directly from the Lord. The first line of the original 4 verses run Aham evasam eva gre. The word Aham is misinterpreted by the Mayavad school into meanings which no one but the interpreter can understand. Here Aham is explained as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not the individual living entity. Before the creation, there was only the personality of Godhead. There were no Purusha incarnations, and certainly no living entities, nor was there the material energy by which the manifested creation is effected. The Purusha incarnations and all the different energies of the Supreme Lord were merged in Him only. The personality of Godhead is described herein as the master of all other living entities. He is like the sun disk, and the living entities are like the molecules of the sun rays. The existence of the Lord before the creation is confirmed by the Shrutis. Vasudevo va idam agra asit na brahma na cha shankara eko vai narayana asin na brahma neshana. Because everything that be is an emanation from the personality of Godhead, He always exists alone without a second. He can so exist because He is all perfect and omnipotent. Everything other than Him, including His plenary expansions, the Vishnu Tattvas, is His part and parcel. Before the creation, there were no Karanarvashai or Garbhodakashai or Kshirodakashai Vishnus, or was there Brahma nor Shankara. The Vishnu plenary expansion and the living entities beginning from Brahma are separated part and parcels. Although the spiritual existence was there with the Lord, the material existence was dormant in Him. By His will only is the material manifestation done and undone. The diversity of the Vaikuntha Loka is one with the Lord, just as the diversity of soldiers is one with and the same as the king. As explained in Bhagavad Gita 9.7, the material creation takes place at intervals by the will of the Lord, and in the periods between dissolution and creation, the living entities and the marginal energy remain dormant in Him. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Krishna Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Sadigora Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karati vachalam pangam langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Bhagavaneka asedam agra atmatmanam vibhu atmechanugatav atmananamatya upalakshana. The personality of Godhead, the master of all living entities, existed prior to the creation as one without a second. It is by His will only that creation is made possible, and again everything merges in Him. The Supreme Self is symptomized by different names. So, we're continuing to hear from the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya Muni. Vidura has been inquiring about the different subject matters, and Vidura was first, he met with Uddhava, and then Uddhava sent him to Maitreya Muni. So because Maitreya Muni was senior both in age and also by knowledge. That's why he didn't want to commit any offense. What offense can anyone say? Maryada Vratikrama, yeah? Not overstepping the seniors. So to avoid that offense, Uddhava sent Vidura to Maitreya Muni, because Maitreya and Uddhava heard the same message from the Supreme Lord Himself. So now, after Vidura inquires about the creation and different subject matters, now from this verse onwards, actually previous verse, which had a very short purport, Maitreya Muni started answering these questions. And in the first verse, he is speaking about creation, that Krishna created. Before him there was nothing. He is the supreme creator. He is the supreme creator. Before him nothing. There was no living entity that existed. And basically he's one without a second. So we can see this is, of course, mentioned by the Lord Himself in the Chatur Shloki Bhagavatam, where again Prabhupada is mentioning about the Chatur Shloki in the purport, that in the original 4 verses given by the Lord to Brahma, who is the secondary creator. The original creator is Krishna, then the second creation happens through Lord Brahma. So he started explaining to him the Chatur Shloki Bhagavatam, basically the essence of the whole Bhagavatam in 4 verses, that Krishna is that I am the original creator, And then without me, everything else is Maya. And if you want to achieve me or you want to please me, then you have to perform devotional service. So this verse here is talking about the creation. The first Chaturshloki Bhagavata is, how the first Chaturshloki Bhagavatam is connected to this verse is that the Lord exists before creation, and He still exists, and He will exist after dissolution also. Yeah, He's not affected by anything. He's not. He even says that in the Bhagavad Gita. What is the shloka? Guna karma vibhag. He creates the three modes, but He's not disturbed by any. He's above those three modes of material nature. Anyway, it is what it is. So He's not affected by any of these modes that He creates, or anything He creates. He's not affected by it. He's actually detached from what He creates. He has no attachment to it. He creates just like when a child. Okay, let's not go there. Anyway, so He's not attached by what He creates. He's very detached. Because when we say, not even a blade of grass moves without the sanction of the Lord, right? Not even a blade of grass moves without the sanction of the Lord. So, if He wishes, He can create. If He wishes, He can annihilate also, destroy. It's up to His wish. So that is the first verse of the Chaturshloki connected to this verse. Then we have the second verse, which speaks about illusion or Maya, the illusory energy of the Lord. Where in the Chaturshloki it says that Krishna says to Lord Brahma that even if you perceive anything without me, that is illusion. Anything that is not connected to Krishna is Maya, right? That's what we say. That's our slogan wherever we go. Whatever you do, connect it to Krishna. And whatever is not connected to Krishna is Maya. And therefore also this verse describes that the Lord uses this spiritual energy to overcome Maya. Yeah, He uses this spiritual energy to overcome Maya, and therefore He creates this material world. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Voyanti Yat Surya. So basically, He creates this material world for us to be illusioned. Why? Because we want to separately enjoy, or independently, so-called independently enjoy without Him, right? Who wants, like, how do I put this? Which father wants to enjoy without this children, like separately from the children? Any experiences? I'm not a father. So those who have children, you always want to enjoy with the children. Your pleasure is always in seeing the children having a good time. Yeah. So similarly, Krishna, he doesn't want to see us separated from him. He always wants us to be around him, enjoy, like, be in his company, have a good time in his company, like that. But because we want to have our free will and enjoy that free will, then he creates this beautiful playground for us, which is a prison, dukhalayam ashashvatam, which is full of miseries. Yeah, padam padam yad vipadam natesham. At every step there is danger. Yeah, you can't walk anywhere where it's safe. In every step there is danger. There is danger of different kinds. So he creates this illusion for us, so that we can come to an understanding that without him there is no enjoyment, there is only misery, suffering. So this is how the second Chatushloki, Krishna says to Brahma, that one who enjoys without me, or one who does not connect and who does not connect anything to me, is actually in illusion. And the third one is, the third Chatushloki is, the Lord is within all material elements, but at the same time he is beyond them. Maya Dyakshena Prakriti. What's the translation for that? Who knows anyone knows the translation? Maya Dyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetunanena Konteya Jagat Viparivartite. What?
This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again.
Yeah. So the Lord is not attached by what he creates. He is very, very much detached. He creates all these material elements, but then he also is just like building a sand castle for him. For time pass, when we go to the beach, we make this, nice sand castle, and you have your imaginary castle, and you'll make this boundary, and you'll make some nice hole where you'll make a canal for the water to pass, and you'll make all these beautiful things. But then when you're going to go back to your house, you just dismantle it, like, mess it up again. There's no attachment to that. So just like that, the Lord is not attached to his creation. He is very detached. And so in this verse also, it complements this same thing, describing how the Supreme Lord, through his will and energies, he orchestrates the material world, how the material world is created. Analogy is given like a spider. Yeah, a spider, the way it creates its web, And why does it create the web? To trap food, insects, to trap the insects in it. So it will come up with very intricate design. When it spreads the webs, it's very intricate, it's very But then, it's still, after it's done its job, it will collect all the web and it will eat that same web. It's not attached to it, unless we go cleaning around and we clean the cobwebs. It's good. But the spider can do that also. It collects all the web and destroys it itself. So like this, the Lord, in the same way, he takes care of the creation, and at his own will he can also destroy it. He's not attached to it. And then the fourth Chaturshloki Bhagavad, which emphasizes on the importance of the understanding the Supreme Lord, or the Supreme Truth directly and indirectly. We understand the Supreme Lord. We try to understand Him through the scriptures. We try to understand the Supreme Lord through scriptures. Why? Because when the Lord leaves this material world and goes back to the spiritual world, what does He leave? The Srimad Bhagavatam. What's the verse? Kalo nashta drishamesha puranarko dunoditaha. How does it start? Krishne swadhama pagate dharma jnana divi saha kalau nashta drishamesha puranarko dunodita. That when the Lord goes to the spiritual world, He leaves back the Srimad Bhagavatam. And through this knowledge, then we can cultivate spiritual knowledge, know the truth about the Supreme Lord. And this verse complements. This verse complements by giving us the understanding that how the Supreme Lord is the Supreme Lord. He is the Supreme Lord He is the original creator, and He does anything at His own will. He is not under the control of any particular person or living entity or anyone. Only after one cultivates his spiritual knowledge, cultivates spiritual relationship with Krishna, can one control the Lord. Because the Lord says, Aham Bhakta Paradino. I come under the control of my pure devotees. I'll be finishing soon, yeah? Just bear with me. So Srila Prabhupada emphasizes in his purport that the Lord's eternal. The Lord is eternal. He's the source of all. And if we do not connect anything to Him, then we connect everything to Maya. Everything is illusion if it's not connected to the Supreme Lord. Yeah. So therefore, we are so grateful. We are actually fortunate that we have. Srila Prabhupada created such wonderful facilities for us to connect so many things to Krishna. He emphasized grihasthas to worship deities at their house. He encouraged reading, chanting, giving this knowledge to others, to make them understand that, we have so many rules and regulations, but if we connect everything that we are doing to Krishna, then there is a chance for us to get purified. That does not mean that I'm trying to promote that you can do anything, means anything you want to do, but do whatever you want according to our principles, but keeping Krishna in the center. That means not meat eating fish and eggs, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. You do this, don't eat onion and garlic, don't eat coffee, don't drink coffee. I'm trying to make a point here so you don't say, oh, we can do anything. I say that we can do anything, so we can offer coffee to Krishna and it will become purified. No. You follow these principles, but if you feel like eating noodles, then you make noodles at home and offer it to Krishna and accept it. It becomes Krishna Prasad. The point is to keep Krishna in the center in all our activities. Yeah. So like this, if we keep Krishna in the center, then we can cultivate this relationship with him. Back to my point, thinking about us being independent. How many of you feel you're independent? Yeah. Yeah. This is illusion. This is Maya. Feeling independent. Because in reality, when one is born in this material world, one is continuously dependent until one dies. And this is reality. No matter what. For example, when a child is born, can the child start eating on its own? When it's few days, few months, can it start walking? When it's 2 months old? No. It starts learning how to walk when it's, I don't know how old, I'm not experienced, but when it starts, I'm experienced in the sense I was a child once, but not training someone how to walk. So when a child wants to start walking, the parent helps the child to start walking, giving it a hand, training it how to walk. And then the child grows bigger, they want to go study. Can Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda ki Jai. Can a child can a boy or a girl pay for his own education? No. Is dependent on the parents to give education, pay for the education. Once education is finished, he needs to get a job. Is he independent? He thinks, oh, I've got a job, or I can earn my own money and become independent. But is that person independent? No, he's dependent on someone to give him a job, give him some money at the end of the month. After that, he thinks, okay, when I get married, I'll have control all over my family. I'll have control over my wife, and I'll be the boss, and they'll be dependent on me. But they're dependent on the wife. The wife needs to cook. The wife needs to clean. And sometimes you have to cook for the wife. It's reality. Like this, they have their own children. When they get old, they're dependent on their children. Like this, we're always dependent. We're always dependent. We're never independent. So if we become dependent on Krishna, then there's a chance that we won't have to take birth in the next few lives and not be dependent on others, and exclusively be dependent on the Supreme Lord. So I'd like to end here, because we all need to go and break our fast. I don't want to keep you. We'll just take maybe one or two comments, not questions, comments, elaborations, because we want the arti to finish and then we can go for prasad. Yeah? Yeah, so any comments, please? Taruna Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna. First of all, sorry for my skepticism, always lack of faith, weird questions. But if Krishna fulfills all our desires, and then creates place for us also. We don't want him. We want to be separate. Then why he's not created such a place where there is no miseries? We want without him. Okay, go for it. But instead of that, gives us so many miseries if we don't surrender. And by logic, I mean, probably maybe there is some place in universe. As I was studying lots of cosmology, there are such a places which people feel, persons feel perfectly happy without him. Maybe they have some kind of deity or something. But there is birth and death, old age. So he could create such a place, but he didn't. So in that sense, we want to live in material world perfectly happy. He creates place, but we cannot be happy. We want to live without him, but up so much miseries if we don't come back to him. So in that sense, it's a partiality. You know what I mean? So he gave us the place, but still we have desired without him, but he doesn't fulfill that.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say else. So why there is no, I was asked but a number of times, why we are not just happy whatever we need and, just be happy, Krishna is such a vague, hidden person that is doubt even that he exists. See?
Yeah, because it's said, no, I was just remembering the shloka. Anyway, Krishna bahir mukha jiva bhoga vancha kore, nikata maya tare japatiya dhore. Whoever wants to separately enjoy from Krishna, or who turns his face away from Krishna, is being slapped by Maya. When one wants to please his own senses, one who wants to, because there is no
desire, so why is not fulfilled?
But our desires are material. He fulfills our desires. We get temporary pleasure.
Why let us here anyway? So
we get temporary pleasure for whatever small desires we have. But that small pleasure doesn't give us full pleasure. After that small hankering finishes, we are looking for something more to hanker about. We are never satisfied. There's no satisfaction without Krishna. Maybe there is, but I don't. Maybe our illustrious Radha Govinda Prabhu, would you? Adi Guru Prabhu, please.
So, like he says, he gives us, Krishna creates the heavenly planets, but even they are Maya. See, it's Maya. Maya means that which is not. So the soul can never be happy in Maya, because Maya is illusory, and the soul is real. So it doesn't matter what arrangement is made, the soul can never be happy, fully happy, because it's illusion, constitutionally.
Yeah? No. Yeah. Even the heavenly planets, they have to, eventually give up their position. Yeah, Indra has to give up, Brahma has to give up, everyone has to give up their position.
But the jiva, the living entity, is one with Krishna. He's infinite. He's very small, but still part of Krishna, and so he's like a fish in the water. That the fish, doesn't matter what you give him, the fish has to be in the water. Similarly, it has to be with Krishna.
Thank you. Prayajan Prabhu.
I relate it to this, it's chapter 15, it's text 3 and 4. It relates to this world. It's like a banyan tree. It's got leaves, and on those leaves, on the branches, there's leaves. There's the the Vedas, and then it says here, the real form of this tree, this cannot be perceived. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with the determination, we must cut down this strongly rooted tree with a weapon of detachment. Thereafter, seek that place from which having gone, one never returns, and there surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began, and from whom everything emanates has extended since time immemorial. So I was just thinking it encapsulates this particular verse we spoke of.
Parma, Prabhu, you want to say something? And then we can end.
So Krishna fulfills our desires, but he's not a desire-fulfilling machine. He's a person, and he wants to see that that when our desires are fulfilled, we are responsible, and we responsibly exist, live with others, and so on. And there is a place where there is no suffering, and that's Vaikuntha. But for that, we have to depend on Krishna. We can't be independent. So if there is independence, then that means as well as happiness, you'll also have to take the suffering for that independence. But if you depend on Krishna, then you can get away without going through suffering. So yeah, he fulfills desires based on certain conditions, and lovingly knowing what's good for us, what's not good for us, what's going to be progressive for us. So that's what I understand that in terms of Krishna fulfilling our desires. As a loving parents would fulfill the children's desires, not that they irresponsibly they will just give children everything which will be dangerous for them and which is going to lead them up the long path and which is going to destroy them. So Krishna fulfills our desires just as our parents, loving parents, will fulfill our desires.
David, Prabhu, quickly, and then I don't want to keep.
Thank you. I think we have to come to terms with what is reality, and Krishna says that every creation is perfect, complete, and whole. So we have to understand that we're not God, and that's perfect, and that's where we're really happy. So we could say anything like, Jack and the Beanstalk. Why isn't it like that? But there's a reality. So.
Thank you. You want to say something? Yes, please.
You mentioned about the spider. So the spider, it makes its own cobweb. Sometimes it gets stuck in there. So similarly, our life is like that. We make things and then we get stuck. Of course, if you take shelter of Krishna, then you can get out. Krishna can help you to get out. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. That's really nice. Yeah. Thank you. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.